Why does she, the jewel of her village, turn away from every man who dares to love her? Her beauty is a song on every tongue, yet her heart remains locked like a shrine no one may enter. Some say she carries a secret too heavy for marriage. Others whisper that no mortal man can hold her spirit. But only she knows the truth, and that truth is not what the village expects. This is the story of Achalugo, a child of beauty and wealth, the one who got away. The story is that a long time ago, a woman, Obioma, from Achara village, was married into Umwago. Being the only daughter and favorite of her father, he blessed her union with a fleet of land by the boundary between Achara and Umwago. This land was large that it was enough to accommodate the 7 sons that Obioma gave birth to. This land flowed with richness that every crop planted yielded so much harvest. Some parts were swampy and clayey. That was good in more than things. Some parts rich with timber and lots of other natural benefits, which the descendants of Obioma harvested with joy. But soon, the people of Achara could no longer hide their displeasure that they lost such a huge portion of land to a mere woman because a father chose to love too much. And so they sought to create trouble with Umuago people at every given opportunity. They have openly told Umuago many times to leave the land for them, the original owners, but all fell on deaf ears, for Obioma's sons were no longer boys, but grandfathers and great-grandfathers, and they had children spread throughout Umuago village. There had been threats of war from Achara people for a long time that Umuago people were beginning to believe it, and they feared they would lose if that happens, because Achara soldiers very much outnumbers all its neighboring villages. So Umuago people desperately need the fight to stop, and this is the promise Ikemba from Achara dangled before Achalugo and Umuago village. Ikemba stood in the middle of Achalugo's compound before his escorts and her servants and pronounced that his king will agree to make peace with Umuago village after his marriage with Achalugo. He made such a loud pronouncement that any ears that cared to listen will hear and pressure her to accept and save the village from doom. Achalugo asked him thoughtfully, "So, you are saying that if I marry you, Achara will give Umuago peace, but if I don't, then you will bring war. What does that make me? A vessel? Think about it, Achalugo. This is a perfect match. I, a son of Achara, will take over your own piece of land from that land at the boundary, and so will our sons," Ikemba argued. "With this union, I promise you, I will convince my king that we should be friends and in-laws and not enemies." Achalugo looked him straight in the face and replied, "Ikemba of Achara, I mean no disrespect, but I will not marry you. I am sure Umuago and Achara will find other ways to settle their disputes without involving me." Persistently, Ikemba said, "I will be kind to you, and you can come with your servants so you don't have to lift a finger and walk." Moving closer to her so that only her will hear him, he whispered with greed in his voice, "And I will make sure we meet 2 times every 7 days, unlike the others that I will meet just once." Surprised, Achalugo asked, You have other wives? Ikemba answered proudly. There are 3 of them. You are going to be my 4th and the favorite. Still maintaining her ground, Achalugo answered, I still will not marry you. Do not let your pride stop you from performing this duty to your people. Ikemba answered her arrogantly. Achalugo looked at him coldly and angrily replied, when you are done with this charade, you may return back to Achara. But remember this, Achalugo has no intention of having you as her husband. With that, she stormed into her hut angrily, leaving a pride-wounded Ikemba in her compound. Alone in her hut, she paced the floor angrily. How dare he call me proud? She barked. If I had pride to last a man for the 7 generations, that is because I can afford it. How dare them all judge me? She barked loudly. That evening, she could be heard barking in rage from her hut alone. The news of Ikemba's visit to Achalugo and what he had proposed spread throughout Umuago village like wildfire. The story made the young women more jealous of her. The men hated her too and called her proud. In fact, everybody in Umuago village had something bad to say about her concerning the matter because, according to them, she could have saved her people from an impending war with Achara village. But the one who was angered the more was Ikemba, for he felt his ego had been wounded, for no woman had ever turned him down before. And so, he made a secret promise to himself that Achalugo has made an enemy out of him and must be punished for it. 4 market days later, Mazi Okoro visited Ikemba in Achara village, claiming they had a common enemy who should be taught a lesson. So both of them schemed and connived on how best to deal with Achalugo. The plan was for them to get some hired hefty men to intercede Achalugo and her workers on her way from her trading from the neighboring village. They planned to take advantage of her in the bush and also hand her over to any of the hired men who will be interested in having a taste of her. Achalugo and her team, oblivious of the dubious plan against them, took the same route they always take when returning from trading, but this time Ikemba and Mazi Okoro's men were waiting. With their weapon and strength, they captured Achalugo and took her straight to Ikemba and Okoro's hiding place in the bush. The 2 men looked at the struggling Achalugo greedily and made jest of her. We are going to have our fill of you today. All of us, yes. Let us see what else will make you carry your shoulders so high as if you own the whole village. Both men spoke with greed in their voice and eyes. Achalugo looked at them fiercely in the face and said, "You foolish men, you don't know what you are doing. I am not in meat you will want to taste." The men looked at her surprised. "So you are still proud? Wait until I am done with you. You will have no more pride left to flaunt around." With that, the hefty men grabbed her and pushed her to the floor. Mazi Okoro went first, with the men holding Achalugo on her 2 hands and legs. Okoro ripped off her clothes and they all looked at her in shock. All the men running off in different directions as if they had seen a ghost. Nneka, Achalugo's mother, was in the market when the news came to her. Some people rallied around her, cursing and hissing at her as if she had done something terrible, and then someone said, evil mother of an evil child. One asked angrily, "You wicked woman, how can you let such evil grow in our midst?" A confused Nneka asked, "What are you talking about? We know your secret." One barked. Another asked, "Tell us, Nneka, is Achalugo a man or a woman? Because from what I heard, she has both the organs of a man and a woman." Nneka covered her mouth in shock. One man continued, "She can't continue to live within us, so that calamity will not befall our land. She has to be sacrificed to the gods." Nneka ran off from the market. Everyone she met on the road looked at her with disdain, and when she reached her compound, she found no servants in sight. Everyone was gone. She called out to her daughter and got no response. Searching the whole compound, she found Achalugo behind her hut. She was climbing a mango tree, holding a rope tied as a noose. She was embittered, sweating with tears on her face. She was about to hang herself. Nneka saw her and rushed to grab her leg as she screamed, "No!" She pulled Achalugo down and cried. Achalugo bitterly cried, "Mother, let me go, please. I am of no use around here. And if I stay, no one will want you either." "No, my child. You are all the children I ever need." "No!" Achalugo screamed. "I need to go and ask some questions to the world beyond. What am I? A man or a woman? Because that is the same question people were asking me today." Begging, Nneka said. "My child, listen." "No!" Achalugo insisted. "All my life I have laughed the loudest, as if I didn't have a burden so heavy and rare that I didn't understand it. I have tried to make riches, to make up for all the pleasures of life that nature has denied me. I have rejected men whose number I no longer care to count. I have hidden a secret in plain sight, all because of this evil that I bear." Nneka kept crying. "No, no, 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 no." Achalugo continued tearfully. "At this point, mother, I say I am tired. I am tired of hiding the secret, of living not knowing what I am. So let me go." She screamed bitterly. At this point, Nneka grabbed her daughter because she was about running off. They both struggled and found themselves on the floor, crying and struggling. After some time, Achalugo stopped struggling, and out of exhaustion, she dozed off. Nneka cried silently as she watched her child sleep. The people of Umuago village did not see Achalugo and her mother for days, but they said the mother and child were hiding their face in shame and fear of what might befall them in the hands of tradition. But when 7 days passed and not a single living thing was seen coming out or moving around the compound, some people decided to inspect and found the whole place empty and deserted. Achalugo and her mother had left Umuago village secretly at midnight with all their belongings, never to return again. Many years later, a story of a woman so fair she glowed under the sun reached Umuago village. This woman was said to be rich and kind, that she ran an orphanage in her home, caring for a lot of homeless and motherless children. Her name was Ugo.